This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, LowcoSports fans. Welcome to a Wednesday night edition of the Lowdown. JJ and Wes tonight. Max is on assignment for the great folks at Publix and hopefully feeling better after banging up his foot the other day. But hopefully he's getting around okay today. But we are here for a Wednesday night edition of the LowcoSports Lowdown. We got some baseball and softball highlights with my new intern with me tonight, Finley Jarrett, age 10, on the video tonight. She exported the softball highlights on the way home, so they're all ready to go. And then we got some baseball highlights that she sent me over as well. So excited about that. That was fun to play, daddy daughter, take your daughter to work night tonight. So that was fun. It's also Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. To those who celebrate, which I think is most of us at this point. It's a federal holiday now. And we've got a guy who definitely celebrates it with us tonight. Red Bruin waiting in the green room, ready to talk some hoops. He's waiting with bells on to talk some hoops. But any other headlines come across your radar tonight, Wes? We're getting started a little late because I was coming in hot from Beaufort. We had 12 and under baseball and softball. We'll talk about that a little later. But Bluffton won the night. The softball 12U, Bluffton takes the district title. We got the highlights coming up later in the show. And the baseball was wild. Talked to Paul and Donna Winland. Beaufort was looking good. They're up 8-3. Bluffton rallies for 6 in the 6th to win at 9-8. Walked it off. We got highlights again from Finley Jarrett. So it'll be Bluffton versus Hilton Head tomorrow for the 12U title. And Bluffton takes the 12U softball. But what'd you come across today? What's happening with you?
Yeah. I'm doing well. It's been a good week. I've been going through the grind, but once again, great to be a part of some of these youth baseball and softball tournaments. I got to see back on Monday, see that 10U boys baseball team from Hilton Head punch their ticket to the state championship tournaments. And how about these softball teams? We talked about it yesterday, but some great talent throughout the board. You look at those 10U girls and how they played with what we saw with Bluffton and even Beaufort from how they composed and showed themselves. Just some great competition, and that's what you want to see from these local squads. So I'm pumped for this. To see how they do in the state tournaments coming up. And yeah, a lot more going on. We had I wasn't going to get to it, but we had a basketball jamboree as well.
Red got out to that yesterday, and that's why we asked him on, because he was talking about how good Bluffton looked. I said, well, we got to get Red in here, a little cross promotion for Red's Barbershop, but also talk about that basketball jamboree and what he saw out there. But yeah, that's cool. We got some golf we'll talk about in a bit as well. Let's get Red in here and talk a little hoops, because it's always hoop season, right? What's going on, man? What's up, buddy?
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's always hoop season in Red's Barbershop. I know that's for sure.
Definitely. So
the shop open tonight. But yeah, you got over there yesterday and checked out that Bluffton team, right? And you were pretty impressed.
Yeah. So Coach Morrow had given me a call because several of our players that played for us on that middle school team at Bluffton Middle the past couple of years have moved up to Bluffton High School, and they were doing the big jamboree yesterday. So we figured we'd get a chance to go see how they're progressing. And I got to tell you, I was blown away looking at that Bluffton squad. I got to say, I think they're going to be the team to beat this year. They don't really seem to have any weaknesses, and they've got some quickness like they haven't really had in the past couple of years, and a good balance of shooters. So I was really impressed with what I saw yesterday. With Harry and Kenny Ford in the backcourt, they've got a premier backcourt, quick. Both of them are very good shooters. I think Kenny Ford is probably, even though he's in the 10th grade, he's probably one of the premier guards in the low country, if not even more. He just seems to get better every time I seen him play. He always makes the right pass. He penetrates. He's, even though he's not a super big guard, he's strong. He doesn't, he gets in there and bangs with them. He was very impressive. And Harry drives right, can pull up on you. You got Jamari Manning. This guy, he's smooth, high basketball IQ, hits the mid range, always seems to make the right pass to the right person. Cornell, the football player, the wide receiver they got, he gets up and down the court. nice size, 6'5" or so. He can, run with any of the big men and keep the other defense, the defensive big men busy. So I don't really see a weakness with them until, maybe like I learned with Rislin, when you go down to Florence and Columbia, then you run into the 6'8", 6'9" guys. But I think in this area, with the 6'4", 6'5" size they got and the great guards that they got, and with K Ford and Harry and Manning, I think these guys are going to be the team to beat in the area this year.
Very good, man. Very good. So you mentioned Carnell. How do he look? I know he's in football mode right now, really, but he's pretty impressive athlete.
Yeah, he's a great athlete. I mean, he just does things so effortlessly. He's long. He intimidates shots. He rebounds real strong. He gets it out. He knows the guys. He's been playing with them for a while. And the thing I like about him is at his size, he runs the floor well. So even when they do run into maybe a bigger center down the line, which is what I worry about with low country teams, because the height around here, it changes once you get down to the lower bottom of the Colombian guys. That's when you run into the 6'7", 6'8" players. But he, even at his size at 6'5" or so, he runs the floor really well. So he'll keep other guys occupied, and he's a great athlete, and he fits with that team well. He doesn't try to do anything out of his skill level and everything, and he's good around the basket, and he rebounds really well. And I like that he can change shots even if he doesn't block them, because he's extremely, he has really good length. They're really impressive. I mean, Harry, just if you don't have a good point guard and you're bringing the ball up against KJ and Harry, that team is going to have some issues. Those guys put the pressure on you. They're both extremely quick. They're strong. They know how to trap and everything. They both have high basketball IQs, and they're a fun team to watch. They've got this transfer from May River. I think yesterday he had on number 55, Brandon White. I don't know if you're familiar with him. This guy jumped out of the gym. He did a couple of reverse dunks, and they threw him some alley-oops. And I had heard about him, and I had never saw him play until yesterday. And he jumps as high as advertised. They're really going to be an exciting team to watch.
It's going to be fun. And then also you bring in a guy or you continue having a guy like Jamari Stewart-Manning, who I thought was a really impactful guy, and some other younger guys coming up from the JV ranks and other younger talents on this team. So do you think this Bluffton squad could be a problem in a new look region coming into this winter?
Yeah, well, they don't really they really don't seem to have a weakness at this point. I mean, like you said, with Jamari Manning, they've got the shooters, and KJ shoots well from the 3-point range. Jamari, he's more of a baseline corner mid-range shooter. Harry pushes the ball. I mean, he's hard to stop, especially when he goes to that right side. And not so much as the left when he drives, but when he drives hard, if you're not looking to draw a charge and make him pull up, he'll take it all the way, even at his size. And he's got a nice stroke. With Cornell with the size. Then you got another one, Cordell Stewart, who played on our Bluffton Middle School championship team. He's big and strong as they come. He rebounds well and can go outside and hit the shot from like the foul line area to the mid-range and the wings and stuff. So they don't really have a lot of weaknesses. Their style, I love their style. He looks to push the ball up the floor and get the best first shot look that they can get, so they don't play around. And of course, last night they weren't really in basketball shape. It's June, they're working out with football and stuff like that. And they would, but even then their press looked really. You can see how it's going to be a good defensive team as well as an offensive team. So they're going to be a tough team to beat. Only because looking at them last night. With a phenomenon like KJ, I don't really see them beating themselves. So I don't know if that answers your question with the new look league. No matter who they go up against, they didn't appear to be a team that's going to beat themselves. So the team is really going to have to come to play, to get bluffed and rattled.
I think on balance, the league probably gets slightly weaker, right? Like, I mean, on boys basketball, like Beaufort is probably a slight drop off from James Island. They've been pretty, competitive with one another. But James Island, I would say, has been a little more successful the last few years overall. And then, I think Bishop England's a little drop off from where Lucy Beckham's been the last few years. So I think the league gets more winnable across the board kind of next year. So I think Bluffton's right there in the mix. I think Hilton Head will be interesting because they've had good middle school teams the last few years too. So there's talent coming.
Yeah, it depends on how well and how quick those young guys are able to step up. Their middle school team have either won the championship or been in the championship game for the past couple of years. So they've got some good young talent coming up. Unlike this area, they don't really choose between 2 or 3
Right,
different
they all go.
high schools. They
all
all go
there.
to Hilton Head High School mostly.
Unless Prep or Christian Academy picks off a couple.
Exactly. So it depends on, like you said, how quickly the youngsters can pick it up. I think that's going to show how far Hilton Head can go. But Bluffton has a good mix of sophomores and seniors,
veteran,
and then they've got some young guys on the bench. So,
and Harry's that's a huge pickup. I mean, Harry, like that kind of transforms your team.
Right, that's
dynamic.
Right. I mean, he's got the shooting ability, but also just leadership. Showing that experience at the point guard position. Someone who can be that facilitator and also have that. I'm trying to find the best word for it, but
he's got that fire. He's got the competitiveness. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was don't laugh. I was joking with Coach Morrow last night. I don't want to put any unrealistic expectations on Harry, but I tell you, he reminded me so much, and now I'm really going to be showing my age again, but he reminded me of like a young Billy Donovan, Billy the Kid that played at Providence for Rick Pitino, a little pigeon-toed guy, pull up on the jump shot. You don't expect him to pull off some of the drives that he does. And the next thing you know, he's fearless. Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of Iverson in him. I mean, you talked about the way he's not afraid to go all the way to the rack and absorb contact and throw it up from some crazy angle, and it goes in more often than it should. I mean, he's just got that confidence about him. I'm going to throw it up there with some spin on it and see what happens. And worst case, I'm going to go shoot 2.
Exactly.
And there's a fearlessness, and I think that will add. I mean, Coach Gabriel, I think, was a terrific hire. I really think he's going to be a good long-term hire there. But the way he wants to play, he needs a point guard who's got a little bit of that fearlessness in them, who will know when to go and when to pull on the reins. And I think he's got the guy, and he's definitely got some people around him. Like, I mean, Jamari working off him will be lethal.
I was thinking the same thing. You got guys like Harry and KJ penetrating, and if they can't they can kick to like Manning out there who really misses an open look.
He's so smooth. He's just buttery. He's buttery. I've liked him for a long time. So I think that's a really, really fun team that's going to be exciting to watch. And, probably at the right time, because the girls are probably going to drop off a little bit. They've kind of been the draw over there, but they graduated so much talent. I think Coach CJ will get them up and running fast,
will get them right.
It's going to be a couple years, probably.
I've had 2 years to watch her over at Bluffton Middle, and she knows what she's doing, and she's got some talent coming in. She'll be able to mold them into some winners real quick. So it's going to be a fun year over at Bluffton, watching those guys, I believe. And have you seen the transfer from May River play yet? Oh,
I'm not familiar with this gentleman.
Yeah, I had heard somebody had me joking. They like, Red, there's a guy that can jump the way you used to do, and I said, let me see this guy. Coach Morrow was teasing me. And I mean, like, first play of the game, they threw him like an alley-oop off the out of the bounds play or something like that. And I was like, this guy really gets up. And then he had a couple of steals and some breakaways where he did one of those you remember the All-Star games where they had the dunk contest and the guy put the ball through his legs and dunked it?
Yeah. Where was he at May River last year?
I don't know. I'm like, how did they let him get away?
JV?
I don't know.
Languishing on JV? I don't know, man. I think speaking of May River, though, I think they've made 2 exceptional hires for the basketball coaches. We talked about Kyle Bennett, and we're going to have him on the show soon, hopefully Friday. The boys coach, he's coming from Kentucky, where he was a head coach for 13 years, and then the AD at the same school for 16. So he's gotten some perspective, and he's really excited to get his hands in the dirt and coach again. And I think he's going to be great. And then they just announced their girls coach hire, which is terrific. Terry Kicks, who we've gotten to know a little bit from USCB basketball, because she's Coach Versup's partner. And she's really a great basketball mind. She's been around, really high level basketball for a long time and in the thick of it, coaching it. So I think those are two exceptional hires after Bluffton made two really good hires the last 2 years.
Yeah.
That really, and then you look at what they're doing at Cross. I think Hillnut Christian Academy is about to have a down cycle. I think Hillnut Christian is about to have a down cycle, and I think a lot of it has to do with not them, but what other people are doing around them. It's not the only place to go anymore.
Yeah.
That's great for the area. That's great for the Low Country to have competition, to have these hires that are elevating the programs of other schools. I mean,
right.
Have a fabulous run for winning 6th in a row. But now you're seeing other schools look to be on that same level, and May River Girls, I think, is on their way towards that. Bluffton Girls has been a staple throughout the last few years, but it's going to look a little different this year with a new era over there coming into 24-25. And then the guys side you mentioned, I love Kyle Bennett, that hire for May River. The new Bluffton hire has done a fantastic job as well. And then Bridges Prep, you mentioned them. I think that guy's team had a great year. Jeremy Huff, he's been there at Buford a while, but he always has gotten the most out of his guys. So there's some parity here, and it's going to be a fun region.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Bishop England, but then you got Buford, Bluffton, Hilton Head. Of course, Shane Brown got into a state championship game. He's done some great here.
And he's got some young talent coming, so they're going to be good.
I mean, I know we're a little early, might be jumping the gun, but it's going to be an exciting high school basketball.
Never count out that Colleton team. I know how much we love to talk about the Cougars.
The Colleton boys they're a problem. They're going to continue to be a problem. They got some culture. They got some culture going there right now. There's something happening there, and Kinlock has some culture going with football. Like I'm not saying like the sleeping giants like awake or anything, but like there's stuff rumbling there.
That's good.
It's getting good. I think so.
It can only make the area better. That's all it can do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Colleton is absolutely a sleeping giant. Football, basketball, the whole 9 yards. If they can find the right coaches who really can get kids out of the hallways and get all their talent on the field or on the court, they are dangerous. And football's getting there, and basketball's been getting there. Like
didn't a couple of those schools join together? Was it?
Well, Hampton did. Estill and Wade Hampton joined together in Hampton County, and they had a terrific year last year. Well, interestingly, your old stomping grounds, Ridgeland and Hardyville, this will be their first year. They're both fielding varsity programs again. They're both 1A. So
the way it started out, yeah. I started out at Hardyville, and then they joined us with Ridgeland, and that's how it ended up. So kind of full circle with that, and it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Yeah, I'm glad.
That first Hardyville matchup's going to be very, very fun. See those.
Oh yeah, well the football one's going to be a little chippy, I think, because like there's a little bit of there's some pride. There's some Hardyville pride. A lot of kids could have played varsity last year for Ridgeland Hardyville, but chose to play JV for Hardyville because they're trying to build something of their own, and they knew this was coming this year. And so there's going to be a lot of pride on the line on this.
Yeah, I got to tell you, when I was at Hardyville before we merged with Ridgeland, and when we played each other, I mean, that was a rivalry, like,
bro. I went to one of those football games when they played each other at Ridgeland. I went to a game, I think they called it the Ben Riley Classic or something after the sheriff who was killed in duty. And that was one of the best atmospheres for high school football I've ever been in. I mean, it was unreal. Both had the bands going, playing Put On For My City. Like, it was great.
The food was great. I mean, the game was great. The atmosphere was great. The music, the marching band was great. I mean, it was
unbelievable.
It was like being at a big time game,
Yeah, I look forward to that rivalry being rekindled, and I think both those communities, have a lot of pride, and
so
I think
people were coming in their Sunday best.
You ain't kidding, bro. There'll be some people. Dressed to the nines. Some of your ballers. My guy Ponce Capers shows up dressed to the nines every time. He's always sold out.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, man. So what are you up to this summer? You're doing the thing at the Boys and Girls Club.
I'm doing the camp. We got an 8-week camp going on, which I love doing. I'm with the tweens and the teens this year, and taking them out on field trips. And we've got another portion for the first 2 weeks doing an explorers camp with Oscar Frazier, which is combination of with the police and a military style boot camp. It's great for the kids, giving them some discipline, some exercise activity, also learning about some of the legal aspects and stuff. What to do if you get stopped in your car and some of your rights. And it's a great program. It's giving some kids discipline, learning how to, accept responsibility and listen to directives and follow them. And after 2 weeks, they have a graduation at the police department. It's great, especially some of the members that are interested, like in law enforcement or military and everything. Imagine being able to put that on your resume.
Yep.
You know how important resumes are. It's always something that can separate your resume from the next guy's. And if you can put that you was in a 2-week military boot camp style with actual police officers, and you were able to handle the pressure and do all of the the work assignments, and that you graduated, you actually finished the program. It's great for their morale, and it's something that I enjoy watching the kids go through. Then after 2 weeks, they get to join to the regular part of the camp every day, so it's fun. And then later on, as we get closer to the end of the summer, the middle school will be able to do workouts, obviously without the basketball. Right now, in the month of June, they only let varsity athletes do it, so we get to do that, and that's what we'll be taking up my time at the end of the summer. So this is kind of more relaxing than than the school period. But
yeah. Do you guys have a AAU team out this summer?
No, I usually do the Carolina Ballers with Coach Morrow. This year he kind of laid back, and as you know, he's transferred from transition, probably a better word to use, from Bluffton Middle that I was coaching with him. Now he's going to be at Bluffton High School doing the JV girls and the assistant girls coach. So it's kind of a transition year for him, and it'll most likely be a transition year for me if doing the Bluffton Middle guys.
You're going to be the head guy over there now at Bluffton Middle?
Right now, that's the plan. They got a new principal over there and everything, so I got to see how things shakes out. But I guess the worst secret in Bluffton right now is that I'm going to be over at Bluffton Middle as the head coach.
All right. Well, if you need a reference, you be sure to put me down. I'll give you a good
first guy in Worldwide West will be my first call.
Love it. I love getting the Worldwide West nickname. That's a
it's great. It's great.
I love that. It definitely fits.
Yeah, but you two were the voice of the Sand Sharks, and
we've been asked back, baby.
Yeah, I was excited about that.
Experience of both of you being a part of that first year on the call together to document this historic first season of Sand Shark basketball.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem I had, other than letting just groom me and bring me along and find my way with that, was to remember that I was doing the color for the game, because the team was so exciting to watch. Sometimes I'd sit there watching the game and forget I'm supposed to be commenting on it. I mean, I did not expect that level of basketball right here in my backyard, man.
There are times where you just have to kind of catch your breath. You just can't describe it all. It's happening so fast and so frenetically. You just kind of have to take a beat sometimes and just let it happen, and then react. Because they play so fast, and they're going to be even faster and higher flying this year, dude. I know they lose Overstreet, and that's a big loss. But they bring in a 6'10", who was a D1 prospect out of high school and is coming from upstate. So, he should be able to control the inside as well as Marcus did, and maybe shoot the free throws a little bit better, and then they add some pieces that are out of this world, athletic and long. They got the kid coming, the Atwell kid who's coming from Air Force Prep is legit. They got several. They added some real length on the wings. They get Kyle Price back at point guard. Not Kyle Price, Dylan Price. Kyle Pulse. They have Kyle Pulse back as well. But Dylan Price back at point guard is a huge. That was a huge loss when they lost him mid-season, because he was kind of the glue, the facilitator. just such a heady point guard, 6'5" or 6'3", I think, but plays taller than that even, you know. So they're going to be exciting. And the women, they were snake bit from the start, man. The injuries. I mean, I'm sure Coach would say I should have brought in more girls, but like, you know, at the time you're trying to not have too many mouths to feed, and then you get two D1 guards hurt, and you're like, ah, geez.
When you say Dylan Price, I'm thinking of our co anchor on our some of our football shows, Dylan Price.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's our guy.
But the girls were still exciting to watch, though. You know, just the style of play that Coach Wickler had them playing. They were exciting to watch, even with the injuries. And hopefully they won't have that next year. You know, their main cogs will be back. But it's weird. You hear people say that, you know, I wish we had some big time basketball in the area. You know, like we don't have a SEC team or ACC team. But I tell you, you know, you go to USCB and watch a few of those games, I guarantee you'll be hooked on those teams.
It's every bit as exciting. And no, it's not as good, but I'll tell you, the difference is way more marginal than people realize.
Yeah, exactly. There's not that much difference from what high, Division I and high Division II.
Not at all.
Dylan Price is our former intern. Dylan Lewis. You're right. I did it on the air a couple of times and had to correct myself and say Dylan Price is a USCB student. But yeah, trust me, when you get to my age, you'll have a lot of names jump up. It'll be hard to pull them out. Start calling kids by their parents' names and everything else. But well, hey, Red, always great to catch up with you, man. We are gonna have we got to get on the same page schedule-wise, but we got a episode of Red's Barbershop coming up. We're gonna get current congressional candidate Michael B. Moore on the show. He's running for our congressional seat against Nancy Mace. But we're bringing him on the show not because of that, but because you guys are all buddies. I met him. You guys went to Syracuse together. You hung out up there.
He's a great guy.
And he's got a son who's a big-time baller, right?
I hear. Yeah. I tell you, I can't wait to talk. Every time you meet with Mike or talk with him, you learn something new. He's really
dude.
Smart, deep guy that has a lot of knowledge about a lot of different things, especially Black history, and he's just a great guy. You know,
appropriately, we're talking about him on Juneteenth because his great-great-grandfather was Robert Smalls, the legend, the GOAT of Beaufort, Robert Smalls.
And Mike doesn't brag about that either. I mean, that would have been the first thing I've been yelling at everybody. Yeah, my dad is Robert Smalls. If you don't ask him, he probably wouldn't tell you unless he's giving you some history lesson about something or anything.
Well, he's definitely, he can impart some wisdom that has been passed down, through his family from the late great Robert Smalls. And he can tell a story, like he can captivate you. He's a really cool guy. I had the opportunity to meet him. Some friends were working on his campaign and asked me to come be a part of having coffee with him. Rob Benson and I went, as well as a couple other friends, just to kind of see what he was about. And he's a very cool guy, very interesting background, big lacrosse player at Syracuse.
Yeah. I felt bad. I think there was a couple of years ago we were up in Charleston, and he was in Charleston, and he contacted me, and it's like, what gym you guys playing at and everything. And I gave him all the information, and he says it's not close, but I can get there. And I think he got there like right before the half, with about 3 or 4 minutes before the half. And would you believe it that the building had some kind of issue with the lights, and the lights went out, and they couldn't get the lights back on because they were on some kind of crazy timer thing and everything like that. So I guess he came all the way across town from Charleston to see us play, and watched us for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then the lights went out on us, and they ended up rescheduling the game or something. But it still was great.
Can't make it up. Can't make it up. But yeah, his son Robert is he was at, I think, Portergoud, and he was playing with Upward Stars, but now he's out at Arizona Compass Prep, big time prep school. So he's going to be a big time recruit. So pretty interesting. So we'll talk about how you guys cross paths and talk all things hoops on an upcoming episode of Red's Barbershop. But always good to chat with you, brother. Take care of yourself. And
all right, I'll see you worldwide. Have a good one.
Thank you.
See you, buddy. That's Red Bruin. He's a legend in New York City and Syracuse, as well as here in the Low Country. Great dude. So grateful all the time that our paths crossed all those years ago. But great to talk with him tonight. Our MVP sponsors make all this possible. It starts with my wife, Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of LowcoSports. She's with Keller Williams of the Low Country. She'd love to help you find a place in the Lowco or upgrade to a bigger, better place. If you want to get in the real estate market in the Low Country, start with Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of LowcoSports, and my wife. Homegrown home inspections will check out that home and make sure it's a great investment. They will inspect it from top to bottom, or if you're building a new home, you got to have homegrown home inspections do the phased inspection. They'll check on it every step of the way and make sure it's built right. And Hospice Care of the Low Country is our official hospice provider. If you need palliative care, hospice care, or grief counseling after losing someone that you love, Hospice Care of the Low Country is there for you. And if Medicare won't cover it, they will make sure you don't have to come out of pocket at Hospice Care of the Low Country, where it's not about dying, it's about living. And Mickelson Law Firms, our official real estate closing attorney, our presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage and our original sponsor since 2017. The Mickelson team's been taking care of us, so please call on them for all your legal needs. Those are our MVP sponsors. Wes, we promised some baseball and softball. Big night over in Beaufort, Burton Wells Park. We had the 12 and under softball district championship. Beaufort and Bluffton split the first two. Beaufort won last night, so we had the rubber match tonight for the championship. And once again, 10-year-old Finley Jarrett on the highlights tonight. She was my intern tonight with assistance from Addie Kara, also 10 years old. My intern signed up an intern. I was pretty proud of her for that. Good work. She even got some B-roll in there. Edited it on the car ride home.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about heir to the throne here, people.
Well done.
Heir to the throne. Yeah, we got some things to work on, like you always do, but excellent work. She already knew how to edit in CapCut, killing the game.
Nice.
This was a very competitive game most of the night. Nice play there by, I think that's Emma Wall. Oh, man. This was a competitive game most of the game, and then Bluffton broke it open late. They started to get a beat on Catlett. Veda Catlett was the pitcher for the 10 and under Beaufort team. Her older sister, the pitcher for the 12 and under. So it runs in the family.
Yeah.
That's
cool. All the siblings are part of it, the different age groups.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Talked a little with Coach Cox, who coached the Beaufort 10 and under. She pitched at USC Aiken, and she's training both these girls, I think, in pitching. And we may do some work together at some point. Got to force it third there. Come on, cameraman. We got to pan left. And there you go. We got Bluffton getting their awards. So Finley did a good job with her report on the softball. And then on the baseball diamond, crazy game. Beaufort had Bluffton's number all night long and was up 8-3. And then Bluffton rallied for 6 runs in the 6th. Heartbreaker for Beaufort.
Oh my!
But a great lesson in never say die for the Bluffton boys. They just kept battling. Carson Tucker with a nice rope to right field there.
We love to see that mentality. Never out of the game. Contagious hitting one after the other. I mean, that's awesome.
Put the pressure on the defense. Feel bad from a young man pitching. He pitched last night as well. Did a great job. Just didn't have it tonight. But he's going to be all right. His uncle is Paul Wimlin Jr.
Yeah.
Pretty good ball player who I caught up with tonight during the game. Saw his mom first. Donna talked to me for a bit, and then I went and talked to Paul. I love this little catcher, by the way, O'Quinn. He's an animal. He's Paul and I's favorite player on the team.
Also, those throwback Houston Astros jerseys.
They're really nice. Ooh.
Yep.
Just got to be clean with it. That mishandles all the difference. It's a game of inches, boys.
Yep.
But once again, shout out to the 10-year-old camera woman, Finley Jarrett. This one's all Finley.
Cool.
Addie was gone by this time. We got to work a little on our framing in the fence, but it's a hard thing.
Oh, it's hard for me too.
I started shooting from further back because I can't do it inside the fence. It's too hard.
I also have to worry about the chance of my
foul
fingers
ball.
Oh, yeah.
Foul ball smashing your fingers. Yeah, it's always a concern. But
But no, it's
no, she did a
fun to
good
cover
job.
these kinds of youth events.
Yeah, it's like bittersweet because I've coached in the Bluffton League for years, so these are kind of my kids, the Bluffton kids. I haven't coached this particular group, but I know who they are and I know their coaches, and so I'm kind of pulling for them. But also, like Buford kids are my kids too, and I'm feeling bad for them at the same time as the wheels are coming off because I've been on both sides of that thing.
Right. Yeah.
It's no fun on the one side of
Great
it.
on the one side, but on the other side, it's
Oh,
painful.
look at this. There's my guy Brage. He's fired up. He was bringing the energy in the crowd for sure. Saw my guy Lee Jones play a little men's league ball with him. He's got Low Country Braves team that's playing this weekend. There it is. There's the walk off. And screwed her on the focus, but she got the winning run. Bluffton walks it off. So, unfortunately for Bluffton, I'm pretty sure they're fresh out of pitching, and they got to face a Hilton Head juggernaut tomorrow. So, it'll be a tough task for them. But sometimes those guys that don't normally pitch, they go out there and they just throw it over the plate a little slower than they're used to seeing it, and it messes them up. So you never
So
know.
they'll
You go
get
fight.
the clean sweep of 8U, 10U, 12U if they
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, to their credit, they've done a much more made a much more concerted effort and done a better job of keeping their travel kids. I mean, they've had some leak out, but they keep mostly their travel kids in that Hurricanes program that, as Coach Thompson explained the other night, that's tied to their rec program and it keeps the best players in it. And it's showing in the All-Stars. But, I think on the other side of that, in the places like in Bluffton where a lot of the higher level kids are playing travel and not playing rec, it creates an opportunity for a bunch of kids who wouldn't otherwise get that opportunity to go play on that all-star team and get a little taste of it. And it may propel them on. It may be the thing that keeps them playing for a few more years when they might have otherwise given it up. So, I think there's good on both sides of it. I think kids having a chance going into the season to know they got a shot to make the all-star team, there's some value to that. And then making it and having that reward, because that's where it all started for us. Like, we got to play the All-Stars once and it didn't go our way and we just wanted to go get better. And so I think there's a great opportunity in that for the kids from Buford, the kids from Bluffton, if they lose tomorrow night, to then get something together and go play some more ball and see if we can get good enough to beat these guys next year. So anyway, congrats to the district champs, 12U softball from Bluffton. Great effort from them. Really scrappy effort from Buford to force it to 3 games, and they had a good run. And then to the baseball boys from Bluffton advancing to get 1 more game. So maybe 2 more games if they can pull off that first one. They'll have to beat Hilton Head twice tomorrow night without any pitching. So it's an uphill task, but you'd rather go down fighting than be sitting at home wondering. So should be fun. But let's shout out some more sponsors. Varsity sponsors of LowcoSports keep us going. DDS Web Design builds, hosts, and maintains websites for businesses and nonprofits to get results. So if you need to get found online so you can do more and think bigger, go to ddshhi.com. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties, and they've jumped on board to help us continue to expand our coverage in those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes around the Lowco. Dr. Ambrose Cole is our official chiropractor. You can find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton. He'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. And Reverence Wrestling Club's our official wrestling sponsor and the presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. You can go to Reverence Wrestling Club to take your skills on the mat to the next level. Those are our varsity sponsors. What else do you want to talk about tonight, Wes?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it is the end of the road for North Carolina. The Tar Heels are done. Tennessee moves on to the finals. Unfortunate, but terrific effort from our Lowco Wade Hampton friend over there for, good to see him contributing. And it's not easy to make it to Omaha. That is an accomplishment in of itself. We've talked about the grind to go through those regionals and super regionals. So you got to have a lot of pride at the end of the run, end of the road, especially once you make it there. I felt sad for my Davidson guys who came up 2 wins short of making it there. They got the Super Regionals and lost 2 heartbreaking games to Texas A&M, who, by the way, they're still in it as well this year. Yeah,
Yep.
so the Aggies are still hanging around. They're taking on the
Right
Florida.
now, right?
Yeah, they're playing right now. They're facing off against it up 3-0 in the 6th inning. So the Aggies looking to put themselves in a best-of-3 championship series matchup with the Volunteers. So that should be an exciting one as well. Justin Lampkin working with 9 strikeouts so far. Lampkin with 9 Ks for the Aggies so far through 5 innings. So looking
Florida
pretty
scored
good.
15 runs earlier today, and they're getting shut out in the 6th now. Should have saved a few.
Hey, that happens. Yeah,
You always got to save a few for the nightcap, man. It can't be.
I'll tell you what, it goes to the youth levels as well. But I cannot. I just have my mind churning thinking about like how do you maintain
It's so hard.
just to kind of decide who goes when and when you take
Well,
a guy.
it's so hard, especially when you get up against the wall, because you can't leave anybody on the shelf and lose. Because then you can't pitch them tomorrow if you lose today. So you kind of got to go all in at some point. You hope you get a big lead and you can save some guys, but that doesn't usually happen in reality. So you got to kind of use who you got to use to make sure you lock this one down, and then you just got to pick up the pieces and roll out whoever else you got in the next one and just keep fighting. But it's a war of attrition. Like at some point, somebody's got an arm left and somebody doesn't, and you can tell. And that's usually when it breaks down. But these teams carry a ton of dudes and a bunch of arms, and they all got juice in them. And on any given day, some dude that hadn't thrown all year can come out and give you 5 or 6 and shut them down. So this is when it gets really interesting at the end of the road. But who's at this game tonight, and I think we're going to hear from them later on, like on Friday. The 12U clutch team is out there. They're at the game tonight. They flew out to Omaha today. I got some photos here that I want to share because this one is fantastic. Coach Eddie got them all dressed up to travel, all dressed to the nines in their matching suits to travel out to Omaha. And then they had 4 hours to get from the airport to the hotel and over to the game. So they had tickets to the 7 o'clock game tonight. And we're going to be over there. And then some more. I like this too. Flying to Omaha. There's Coach Eddie. So cool stuff there. We'll keep tabs on them. And
that's really cool. How they build.
We didn't get to go to Cooperstown, but they're doing the
right.
Omaha poster.
Yeah, it's a unique experience. The Cooperstown is great because you got the Baseball Hall of Fame, and you get to experience that. By the way, rest in peace to Say Hey Kid Willie Mays.
Legend.
One of the best to ever do it in the sports history.
Arguably the best all-around baseball player of all time. I mean, you can make the argument. Phenomenal player. But yeah, no, I think it's really cool that Eddie's taking those kids out to Omaha. What an experience to be able to see, College World Series game in person and then get to play ball while you're out there. It's wonderful. I love that people are able to create those experiences for the kids. It really instills a love of the game that gives back for a long time. A&M just hit a home run. 5-0. A little bit of golf. The SCGA Grant Bennett Florence Junior Invitational is ongoing. Going into the final round, we got some Lowco on the leaderboard. Sage Bradshaw and Cade Kriskunis are both at 1 under, tied for 3rd. They are a ways back though, 5 shots off the lead. 2-horse race right now, but you never know what can happen. And then a little further down the leaderboard, Luke Block from Bluffton tied for 9th. And that's our top guys. Tag Graziano down there, T24. So we got some guys in the mix. Been a good summer for both those guys. I mean, it's been what's his name? The other prep, Cresor, has been kind of the standout of the summer so far, but Chris Kunis also has been outstanding, and Bradshaw is just so consistent and still so young. He's a 2026 guy, so 2 more years of high school left for him. So that's about what's happening around here. I don't know if anything else. I'm sure there's something else going on, but we're not aware of it. That's what's on our calendar.
Yep.
The basketball thing is interesting. I didn't get over there yesterday. I'd like to get over there tomorrow if I can, to see the jamboree. But at least we have confirmation from Red that Harry's officially a Bobcat. Seen it with his own eyes, and now we know about another transfer. So I think that Bluffton team is going to be exciting.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to be right there. It's going to be a fun region. There isn't really a clear cut fate. I mean, Buford's always solid. You talked about Bluffton, how scary they could be. I mean, they have the talent to.
I think they're kind of
push
the
for
favorite.
it. I think you might be right. May River is close, but I think Bluffton's has a little bit more right now than the Sharks do. Bishop England's the wild card. Not kind of sure what they have.
Yeah, they are. They're always the wild card. But no, I mean, it looks pretty open. So that'll be fun. And football looks, I mean, kind of open too in a way. Like I feel like Buford and Bluffton are on pretty similar levels at this point. I feel like Bluffton and May River are on very similar levels. I feel like Hilton Head's not that far off from either of them. Colleton's coming up, and then Bishop England, they've been down, so it's going to be tough. Like they were a 4 seed in 2A last year. They're going to have a little trouble up in 4A unless they've got some horses coming from somewhere.
I just like how we have that chance to have some more local. I mean, give credit to James and Lucy Beckham. They had some terrific teams across a number of sports.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna. I feel we're gonna have some more region championships in the local this year.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Fair fight. No doubt about that. We're running out of things to talk about, Wes. So I suppose we'll start rounding this thing up with some Lowco Booster Club, and then we'll talk about what we're doing tomorrow and the rest of the week. Court Lifestyle Pros are Low Country natives, Daniel and Debbie Court. They are with Charter One Realty, and they want to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. You can find Dr. Ali and Dr. Jen at Revive Rehab, Women's Health and Pelvic Floor Physical Therapy. If you're a new mom, you definitely want to go see them. They'll help you get to feeling like yourself again. Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel like these hats. They made these for us. We're going to have these for sale very soon. Go over to Eagle Creations, see their showroom on Origin Boulevard, and see what all they can do for you. Jay's Barbershop is the place to be in Ridgeland. Whether you need a haircut or not, you can go in for great conversation and come out looking stylish at Jay's Barbershop in downtown Ridgeland. And Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. Chris Odom and team will get your floors so clean, your feet will thank you. That's our Lowco Booster Club. Looking ahead to tomorrow, we got the baseball with the championship game, Hilton Head against Bluffton in the 12 and under. And then we got the final round of the Grant Bennett. And we got that little basketball jamboree, and that's about all that's happening tomorrow. Oh, I know what we forgot to check on was Walterboro Legion. Yeah. See how they did tonight, because they got the dub in game 1 of that series. Tonight they took the L 10-0. So there you go. And now we're done with everything that happened in the Lowco tonight. Anything you want to leave us on? Anything else you want to discuss before we call tonight?
Yeah. Well, today is Juneteenth, which has become an important holiday in this country, and just it's great to see this event be magnified, because when the slaves were freed, I mean, that was a huge step forward in our history, and recognize Black culture and where it's come from, and the significance of it, especially here with Mitchellville and Hilton Island, which was one of the first places where you had the Black settlements. And now you just look and see the history of it here and how important it was, and how important it is to keep that culture, moving forward, and to remember it and to preserve it. And I've been to a couple of Juneteenth events over there at Mitchellville, and they have some dancing celebrations, and I mean, this is stuff you have to preserve and understand for the future generations. Like, we have come this far, but there is more work to be done, and so now to the next group to continue that journey. I mean, just it's something that is going to continue to be better. And you just look at how far things have come. Juneteenth was a big turning point, and it's just great to see the success of just the integration of Black culture in athletics, in pop culture, just around this island, because it has a ton of significance.
It does.
And I mean, from sports, like, especially when you look at Dan Dreesen and professional baseball. I mean, that started here in the Low Country, and that was huge. You look at the history of African American, or the history of Black is the preferred term to use, the history of Black men playing baseball.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that's is continued. The culture has left a mark, and it's something that has to be preserved. And so it's cool to see all the ties here in the Low Country, and to see
it is.
And
I've talked about it before. I grew up on a farm in Kansas. There was not a large Black population at all. I grew up largely ignorant to it, and Juneteenth was not on my radar at all. Now, obviously, it's a federal holiday. It's a little more on everyone's radar, which is a good thing. I mean, we need to be aware of it. There were pockets of the country that had no idea that Juneteenth was even a celebration or what the significance was. Of course, living here for the past 19, almost 20 years, I've gotten a crash course in it, and we live in a place where it's, as you mentioned, a very significant part of our culture and our history. And Reconstruction is like part of us, and we also live in a place where it's jarring at times to realize how recent some of our ugly history is, and how recently, for example, every town outside of every town in South Carolina, there was suddenly a private school. And that was tied directly to legislation forcing integration in the public schools. The private schools popped up just outside town. And when you think about the relative proximity of that historically, you're like, holy cow. It's kind of jarring at times. But it also kind of drives home how, like you said, as far as we've come, we're still navigating this path, and I love to celebrate with our friends here in the Low Country. Juneteenth, it's becoming meaningful to me, because it's meaningful to people I love here, and so it was great to be out in the community tonight, among a diverse group of people cheering on our kids in baseball and softball, and great to talk tonight with Red Bruin, who is a legend and a great influence in our community, especially in our Black community. Mentoring young men, trying to keep them on the right path, and help them realize their potential, like all of our coaches do. We've said many times we're very hesitant to be critical of coaches based on wins and losses or outcomes on the court, because there's so much more that goes into being a good coach or a successful coach at the lower levels of the sports. When you're getting paid big bucks and the athletes are too, and you're paying big ticket prices to go see the games, like, there's an expectation of wins and losses. But when you're just trying to develop kids into the best young people that they can be, there's a lot more important things than that. And certainly in the marginalized communities, that's more true, because there's a lot of kids who, it's really easy for them to fall into the wrong habits and hanging with the wrong people. And sports are a great way to keep them occupied and focused on something productive and positive in a good environment with good people. And so shout out to all the coaches doing their thing, especially being out at these youth tournaments and seeing the people who are doing it, volunteering to do it for love of the kids and the game. That's meaningful. So shout out to all you people mentoring our young people and trying to help the next generation, as you said, Wes, carry on the progress we've made and take it to another level. So we got all deep at the end of this one. Sometimes we do that, but meaningful, necessary and meaningful. Juneteenth, I even put it in the title tonight instead of June 19th because it stands out. So. Anyway, great show tonight. Great talking with Red Bruin. Great showing my 10-year-old daughter's highlights from the baseball and softball. That made me proud. I got some constructive criticism for her, but considering she did it on deadline, I'll give her a pass this time. And we'll clean it up for Instagram tomorrow. I told her we can make a reel tomorrow, but that'll do it for tonight. We'll be back Friday night. We're working on getting Coach Kyle Bennett as well as the guys from the Clutch 12U baseball team out in Omaha. And we'll see who else wants to stop by and talk Loco Sports with us. Mad Max will be back along with myself and Worldwide West. We'll see you Friday night. Until then, go Loco.
The Loco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go